Hey everybody, Bob Lazaro here from All Things Leland. As you all know, it's no surprise, Brunswick County is the sixth fastest growing county in the United States, and with that comes infrastructure need, public services needs, etc. No exception is the need of our public school system here in Brunswick County, and I'm pleased to have the Superintendent of Brunswick County Schools, Mr. Dale Cole, joining us today. Mr. Cole, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I know that we're going to get a little bit in the bond issue that's coming up in November to help expand and improve our schools, but perhaps you could share a little bit on the need, what's happening on the ground now that necessitates the need for future construction and improvement.
Uh, well, um, this is a pretty simple bond referendum based on need for seats and seating
Okay.
capacity at our schools, particularly in the north region of the county. I guess just in short, I would say that over the last, I don't know, 6 to 8 years, Brunswick County Schools has grown in student enrollment somewhere between 3 and 4% a year.
Okay.
Which is somewhere between 350 and 400 new students coming to Brunswick County Schools every year.
Hmm.
And in general, our elementary schools have about 700 to 800 students. And so every 2 years, we're getting enough new kids to build a new elementary school.
Okay.
And we have been taking care of that need by building some smaller additions in targeted areas. For example, we built a 16 classroom addition at North Brunswick High School
Yes, sir.
that opened the year before last. We built a 16 classroom addition at Town Creek Elementary School that opened last year, where we now have our fourth and fifth grades at Town Creek Elementary housed. And then we've been buying a lot of trailers.
Okay.
So, for example, at Belleville Elementary School, we have over 900 students at Belleville now. That school was designed for 700.
Hmm.
We have 9 trailers out behind the school where you
Yes,
can't
sir.
see them.
Yep.
We're going to have to add 2 more next year and 2 more the year after that. So by the time we can get our new elementary school open, if we pass this bond referendum, we'll have 13 trailers at Belleville Elementary School, and we'll be out of permeable surface there.
Sure.
North Brunswick High School is also completely out of permeable surface. We can't build any more buildings or additions at North Brunswick without tearing an existing structure down.
Okay.
So it's we've kicked the can down the road as long as we can.
Sure.
And I would also say that the growth in our county is accelerating.
Yes.
So it's not staying stagnant or slowing down. 2 years ago, Brunswick County was the 11th fastest growing county in the nation. Last year, it was the sixth fastest growing
Hmm.
county in the nation.
It
So
is.
yeah. So uh, it's just a matter of running out of seats. We get a yearly demographic study done that we post on our bond webpage for everybody to see. And we're projected that every one of our schools will be over 100% capacity by 2034.
Mhm. Yeah, I saw the study that the demographer said it was expecting a 42% increase in students over the decade. And for those folks, 42% equates to almost 6,000 more children. I mean, the problem with trailers, I mean, the issue with trailers is you outstrip the capacity of the core of the building.
Correct.
I mean, the
Yeah, a lot of what a
cafeteria,
lot yeah, what a lot of people don't think about is you can add seats with trailers, but that doesn't make the lunchroom bigger.
no.
And we have to follow fire code with how many kids we have in the lunchroom, how many kids we can have in the gym. And so now, we're at the point now where at Lincoln Elementary, Belleville, and Town Creek, that first lunch starts at 10:30,
Yeah.
and last lunch ends at 1:40. We really can't add. We would if we add another lunch, kids are going to be eating lunch at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
It's just not feasible. Also, our parking lots and our traffic queuing spaces were also designed for schools that are half the size of what they are now, and that's the reason why the traffic is so bad.
I,
So
yeah. I've been through it on Village Road going past, I mean, River Road going past
oh yes,
Belleville Elementary, and the sheriff's office and the volunteers do a great job. But I mean, it's really just math at the end of the day. There's
That's
only
all it is.
so many behinds you can fit in seats, and so many times how fast you can feed them and give them time for phys ed or whatever. So with that, I mean, and the school board has approved, and I guess the county board of supervisors has approved the system to go out for a bond. And can you explain briefly, what that will do for Brunswick County schools?
Well, let me first of all say that in North Carolina, it is local government's job per the North Carolina Constitution to build schools. It's not the state's job. North Carolina is a bit unique in that they pay the salaries for most of the teachers.
Hmm.
A lot of states don't do that, but our we have so many people that move here from other states that do things differently. I always want to be clear that our Board of Education does not have taxing authority.
Yes.
So they don't set property taxes. That is the Board of Commissioners.
Yes.
And so, really, the Board of Commissioners, that government body is charged with making sure that we have the number of seats we need in our public schools to serve our population. So we informed the county commissioners of what our issues were, and the county commissioners tasked me with creating a bond proposal that would initially they said we want a bond proposal that will allow us to have the seating capacity we need for the next 10 years, and we'll pull all of the kids out of trailers. So I put together that plan. It was a $450 million bond that would have built two elementary schools and a high school and done a few other small things. I presented that to the Board of Commissioners, and they felt that $450 million was not sellable to the county citizens, and they asked me to cut it down to 350 million, which I then told them, okay, well, after I went back and did some research for my team, I came back and said, we're going to have to cut a school in order to get it down to that amount, and that means we're going to have to use the trailers we have plus some more trailers along with this bond if we're even going to have a chance of getting through 10 years.
Sure.
And so that's going to be borderline if we make it 10 years. It's possible, but we're going to have kids in trailers because, again, we're not going to have enough brick and mortar seats. So I presented that. The commissioners approved it for the November bond referendum. I wanted it to go on the primary because the way
Sure.
I looked at it was, most of the people that vote in primaries tend to be the most informed voters. And I felt like we had the best chance of passing it in the primary. And if we didn't, then we could immediately put it on the ballot for November because in North Carolina, state law only allows us to put bonds on the ballot in even years. So
Okay.
if this one doesn't pass, we can't put it on the ballot again until 2028. And that's going to be catastrophic to our seating capacity needs.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like as you said, with the number of children moving here. I mean, I was doing some research between 2022 and 2025, more than 30,000 new residential units have been approved in the county, and that obviously doesn't include the town. So you have the tsunami of kids coming. Doesn't matter, if it's this year or next year, it's just happening. And and
Yeah.
and you need to provide the service.
Yes, yes, and we're required to by law. And I think the last time I checked, I saw that over 70,000 homes have been approved to be built in Brunswick County
Yeah.
over the next 20 years. And, there'll be even more than that that'll be approved to be built. I think easily all 70,000 of those homes will be built in the next 20 years.
Yes, sir.
So just simple math, if let's just say 10% of those 70,000 homes have two kids in them. And
Yep.
it's going to be more than that. But
Yes.
let's say that it's 10%. We just doubled the size of our school district from 14,000 to 28,000.
Yes, sir.
So I try to be very transparent with people in that, I don't get a pay raise if we build a new school.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
is not what this is about. This is about getting ahead as best we can of this growth and making sure that we have seats for all of our children that are moving here and that are from here.
I think what's critically important too is for folks to understand that our public schools are a critical part of economic development. If you're making a decision where you're going to be moving to or bringing a company to, you want to make sure that the public education system, which is the great equalizer for folks, have a place for their child to go to school and is not having lunch at 9:30 in the morning. So I mean it's as this county continues to grow and the Wilmington metro area grows, investments in public education are critically important. I mean, we talked about the two new buildings, but I do know that you have some money set aside for some upgrades and then for some future land acquisition if available.
Yes, that is correct. Again, this bond is about taking care of our critical needs right now,
Right.
as well as providing us with a budget to buy land and begin to develop that land for future schools
Sure.
so that we can be ready to build schools faster
Okay.
as we need them.
Okay.
You're probably aware that just uh, negotiating and closing on a piece of property, and then getting it permitted
Yes,
and
sir.
getting, I mean, that's a 1.5 to 2 year process. Then you have to grade it, and most land in Brunswick County, we have to do some kind of mitigation.
Okay.
Whether it's surcharging or designing the school to be built on columns, just
Okay.
because of the soil composition. It's very
Okay.
sandy, or sometimes it's very wet and clay, and so it. And if you have to pile dirt up on top of it to squeeze the moisture out of it before you can build on it, I mean that's another 6 months. So
Sure.
our goal is to, and we don't own any land currently around the
Mhm.
county. The school board does not own any land around the
Sure.
county other than about 100 acres that the county commissioners gifted us 6 months ago in supply.
Okay.
There was some property that they had. So what we've included in this bond is about $18 million for the purchase of land around the county in the areas that our data shows we're going to need to build schools in the next 20 years,
Sure.
as well as site development of those properties when we buy them. We would love to be able to go ahead and do what land clearing we're going to have to do, get it graded, and just have it ready to build on so
Okay.
that as this growth accelerates, if we have the land ready, then we can build a school in a 1.5 years to
Sure.
to 2 years, instead of 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and time is money, right? I
It is.
mean, I'm
So construction inflation for the
yes,
past 6 years has been 3% per year. So
yeah,
every year we wait, 3% on $100 million, that's a lot of money.
it is,
So
and it's hard to believe, right? I mean, $100 million building, and it's just that's the going.
oh yeah,
That's
so
just the going.
the current rate for school construction in North Carolina is somewhere between 410 and $450 a square foot.
Okay.
So, and these estimates that we have right now, especially for the high school, are, I think they're pretty conservative. And by conservative, I don't mean we're estimating on the cheaper side.
Sure.
Everybody that's giving us prices on things, they're covering themselves because we're talking about building this high school like 3 to 4 years from now.
Sure.
So, they're making sure they don't want to have to come back 4 years from now and tell us that it's going to cost more to build the school.
Sure.
They want to be able to tell us it's going to cost less.
Yeah,
So,
I know one of the projects that you have, I know you have the property, is the Jackie's Creek. Is there any timeline for that on when you expect construction?
so we still haven't closed on that property, but
Oh,
we're
okay.
close. We're very close.
Okay.
I expect us to close on that property within the next month.
Okay.
But we had some money that
Okay.
allowed us to go ahead and get started on some of the
Okay.
design and the
Okay.
grading and that sort of
Okay.
thing. And hopefully the bond passes and we can reimburse ourselves from the
Okay.
bond on the
Sure.
work that we've done ahead of time. So we've been moving forward on this, but we expect the probably the earliest we could open the Jackies Creek Elementary School would be January of the 28-29 school year,
Okay.
or we depending on how the weather goes, we get a big
Yeah.
hurricane and it stops construction for 2 or 3 months. we may end up having to wait until August of 29.
All right, well, hurricanes are possible.
Yes,
Friendly
sir.
reminder, hurricane season starts June 1st.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
hey, listen, I appreciate your time. Having lived in a fast-growing community, and as we spoke earlier, we went from 32,000 students to over 80,000. One year they opened 5 schools. So I appreciate the position you all are in, and it's really critically important for our children and for the county as a whole that we resolve this question and move forward with the construction necessary to take care of our kids. Thank you, Mr. Cole, for all your time. I appreciate it. Best of luck. And the referendum is being held this November.
This November. Yes, sir.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you.